Welcome to the 2011 Missoula Downtown Association Awards Banquet and Annual Meeting. My name is Geoff Badenoch. I've been asked by the Downtown Association to be your MC tonight. I was told there would be penguins tonight, so somehow there was a miscommunication.
You look good, Geoff.
Thank you. – 2010 was a very, very good year for downtown. As the nation recovered from the recession and continued that process, downtown saw a couple of really good things happen that have pointed us and our community back in the right direction. Chief among those has to be that we have a buyer for the Macy's building, now to be known as the Missoula Mercantile. I remember when it was the Missoula Mercantile, and this is like coming home. I'm really glad to see that. But it's going to mean that that very large building on a prominent downtown corner is going to be active, and it's going to be drawing people to our downtown, and that is a very, very good sign. It's been a great year for MDA and the many, many activities that MDA is part of and sponsors. We have had, and I didn't believe this figure, but I love it, attendance at MDA events has now topped over 500,000 people. Imagine, that's the history of what this organization accomplishes, and everyone should be very, very proud of that. The growth in the Downtown Association's gift cards program is through the roof. Membership is also increasing, which are both of those things I think are reflections of not only the strength of the organization, but how well the MDA is thought of in the community. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because everyone in this room is doing their part to make that happen. So, round of applause for all of you. As part of my program tonight, part of what I get to be responsible for is I'm going to talk a little bit about a new initiative that the MDA is taking on, and that is improvements to Caras Park. Now, Caras Park is a place that is near and dear to me personally. My familiarity with Caras Park started back when I was a college student back in the 70s. And when all the best Frisbee fields on campus were taken, Caras Park was the next best alternative. Why? Because it was simply a flat piece of lawn that you could throw a Frisbee on. There was nothing there. It was grass and kind of a raggedy parking lot that had pinned down curbs that had been there for probably 30 or 40 years, and it was the free parking, and nobody really cared much about it. But boy, when the MDA started working on Caras Park, things changed. This is what it looked like, if you could look at the two screens. This is what it looked like probably in the early 70s, maybe mid-70s. Caras Park used to be the north channel of the Clark Fork River. When the city built the Higgins Avenue Bridge, part of that work included taking what was Island Park in the center of the river and moving it up over next to the Wilma building. The north channel of the Clark Fork River used to flow right by the Wilma, and there aren't very many people who still remember it, but occasionally I come across longtime Missoulians who remember that the Wilma used to just sweep the popcorn out the door into the river when they cleaned up. But with the construction of the Higgins Avenue Bridge in the mid-60s, the Army Corps of Engineers came in and created the flood control project that created the space for Caras Park. For many, many, many years, there were people who referred to Caras Park as Island Park. Now, the really, really old people who've been around a long time will remember that in the late 40s, Juliette Gregory, Missoula's first and only woman mayor, led a community-wide fundraising effort to create money to improve the island in the middle of the park. And they created, I think there was a skating rink, there was a generator to run lights, there was all these, and a bridge that went out to the middle of the river. And that was in 1947. The flood of 1948 totally wiped out all those improvements and sent them on down the river. And Juliette Gregory did not get a second term. And whether that was because of the debacle with the park or whether because she was the mayor who installed parking meters in Missoula, we're not really sure why she didn't get reelected. In the late 70s, there was an effort in Missoula called City Spirit, and it was led by a man named Bill Coffey. His brother John is still here in Missoula as a realtor. Their father and grandfather were the men who helped shape Missoula. They were businessmen here. But Bill led an effort called City Spirit, and City Spirit was downtown's first real look at itself and what it could be. And we had, it was the usual process, brought in outside experts. The community did a lot of focus groups and talking amongst itself, and what are we going to do about ourselves? And one of the things that they identified was this wonderful riverfront that we had in Missoula that was not being taken advantage of. And so that really started the seeds of downtown being defined by its lovely, wonderful riverfront and all the potential that was there. Well, if you look at the pictures on the screen, you'll see that there is on the left-hand side what looks like a dirt track. That is a road that we were required to have by the Army Corps of Engineers to allow inspections of the dike and the flood control works that they did. That was later paved and became the very first trail section in Missoula, Montana. It went from Orange Street to the flood wall that's just outside the hotel here. And that was our first trail in Missoula. And everything that we've built in the last 40 years, 30 years, started with that little piece of trail at Caras Park. Later, the Downtown Association entered a partnership with the University of Montana's Repertory Theater. And we purchased, the Downtown Association and the university purchased this large orange and brown circus tent. Yes, it was used. We didn't on purpose go out and see if we could find one with that color combination. But in the early years, this tent, we would erect the tent down next to the Clark Fork Manor. And to erect the tent, we would have to drive stakes that were about this long through the asphalt. Now, if you think it's hard driving it through grass and gravel, try driving a stake through asphalt. It's really hard. Later in the mid-'80s, 1983 to 1987, the redevelopment agency took the work that was done at City Spirit and created Caras Park. And in the design of Caras Park, we created a space that had a footprint that would allow that orange and brown circus tent to be erected on the plaza. And the idea was, why, we'll put the tent up in the spring, it'll be there all through the summer, and then we'll take it down in the fall so the tent doesn't have to suffer through the Missoula winter and the Hellgate winds and all the things that can beset a tent. And we did that for many years. But one of the things that we found was that people coming out of the bars, vandals, miscreants, whoever, would come along, and those ropes that you could see that hold the tent there, they would cut those ropes. And in the middle of the night, I'd get a call, or Tom Cassina would get a call saying, hey, this is the police department, your tent is down. You want to do something about that? And we would go down there, and it was always a matter of rounding enough volunteers up to go and finding Mark Wielander and saying, our tents fell down, can you help us? And putting it back up again. Well, we did that enough times, and the tent was made out of canvas, and it rotted and started to wear away. And so the Downtown Association said, we can do better. Let's do a better thing than orange and brown. Let's create this tent, which we did. And it was essentially the exact same tent, only it was made out of modern fabrics that were resistant to weather and looked really, really great. And we did that for a while. And one of the things about a circus tent is that the high points of the tent were held up by cedar poles that were about 25 feet long. They were really, really heavy. But when the wind would pick up this tent, and you can see there's no sides on this, the wind would come in and it would fill the tent and it would lift it up just like a parachute. And the tent and everything that held it up would become airborne. Now, circus people are smart. They figured out a way to tie those center poles with ropes so that everything kind of stayed together. But on one really horrific windstorm, that cedar pole came down with such force that it shattered it. And splinters of cedar were flying, and as I hear tell, because I wasn't there, but I heard tell, it almost hit a woman. And Dan Cedarberg, I think, was the one who observed, the lawyer that he is, observed, hey, this could kill somebody. This won't be good for downtown if our tent kills somebody. We need to have a different solution. And so we did get a different solution, and it's the pavilion that is there today. Now, this pavilion was designed to have exactly the same footprint as our previous two tents, so everything that was in there before we could do again. All the plumbing and the electrical, everything would still work, only we didn't have to put the thing up and down. Now, I should tell you something about putting that tent up and down. When the circus does it, they got elephants. They got elephants to help. When we did it, it was a group of downtown business people that kept getting older and older and older, and each year less enthused about going down and trying to put this thing together and put it up. We had a little bit of a respite. Again, Dan Cedarberg called on his university fraternity brothers, and we got help from a dozen or so young college kids who, for beer, would help put the tent up. And it was like the best investment we made for years and years and years. One of the features that we have that you can see in this picture is our band shell. We, the Downtown Association, host a lot of people, a lot of events, and entertainment is a key component of what makes Caras Park special, not only to the downtown, but to our community. It's what helped draw 500,000 people to downtown. That particular band shell was designed by Mark Wielander, and I helped him. I told him we had to have a band shell that one person could put up. Now, it's only been done once that I know of, that one person could put that thing up. I did it because I'm stubborn enough to prove that it could be, and I think I sprained every muscle in my body doing it, and so we decided never again would one person ever try to put that up. But it too is starting to feel its age, and it is more and more of a hassle to put that thing up. It's more of a bother. It takes a lot of resources in terms of our staff and a lot of energy, and it too is showing its age, because you can see it was built and it was created about the same time as the last tent. We've replaced the tent with the pavilion, and now it's time to replace the band shell. And so, in the last year, a committee of downtown, your neighbors, your friends, your fellow MDA people have been working on a project to replace the stage with a new band shell. And here it is. This is a photo rendering of what it will look like. It's modest and functional. It's a six-sided figure that has steps leading up to it and a cover that can be installed annually and taken down so we don't have to leave it up, subject to vandalism and weather. But it will provide cover for the musicians, many of which, as you know, play with electricity. And I worry about those people every time the weather starts to turn rainy, as it's known to do here. And I worry about other safety features, safety considerations that we have to deal with. This design that we have is going to provide electrical connections right to the facility. So when an artist comes there or a group comes there to perform, everything that they need for power is there. And it's going to be built to code, and we won't have to worry about the safety of the musicians. And it will serve the park for the next generation or so. So that is the project for the coming year. That's what we're going to be working on. We have already started raising money for this, and I'm proud to say we're well over halfway there. We're going to be moving forward on fundraising in the coming months, and if we are successful, as we usually are when downtown tries to put things like this together, we will try to do this project yet this spring. And if we don't do it this spring, we'll limp through the summer months with the band shell that we have now, but we will attack this project and get it done this fall. This is the top of the MDA agenda. This is something that we need your help on. This is something that if you can find a way to help make this happen, step forward, put out your hand, put out your checkbook, whatever it is. When you get asked by MDA to help make this thing happen, please respond with a yes. I will do my part to help make this happen. So, thank you for letting me make that pitch. Now to the funner part of the evening. This is the annual business meeting for the Downtown Association, and it's the part where I get to go back and eat my dinner. But in order to proceed, I get the distinct honor and privilege of introducing the Downtown Association president. Your president is Diane Lanning, and she is entering her 8th year of service, 8 years on the Downtown Association Board of Directors. That is a commitment. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. This organization, if anything, over the years that I've known it and been part of it, is successful because of people like Diane who step forward and say, yep, I'll do it. She plays a key role in almost every event. If she's not helping plan it, she's there selling beer, putting on wristbands, ushering people to and from. She's just the quintessential MDA member. She's been a strong advocate for downtown. She's been a great communicator of downtown's message and has been instrumental in facilitating a lot of the issues and problems that show up. And last thing I want to say about Diane, because it's personal, is that this last spring when Bob Dylan visited Missoula for his 3rd visit, Diane was probably not more than 20 yards from the stage, and she stood up for not only Bob Dylan, but all of John Mellencamp. And her son was there, and I think he sat down, but she didn't. She rocked both concerts. Your president, Diane Lanning.
Geoff stood for the whole concert, too. Wow, it's hard to believe that a year has gone by since last January. I was thinking about the year, and I should have talked to Geoff before I did my notes up, but one of the things I wanted to talk about was last year at this time, Macy's still occupied the Missoula Mercantile Building, and this year, Octagon Capital Partners has bought the Missoula Mercantile Building, so it's going to be really exciting to see what goes on the corner of Front and Higgins in 2011. Also last year at this time, the North Higgins Streetscape project had not even started. It started in spring and finished, it was mid-October before it was done. And we do thank the businesses down on North Higgins that endured the construction. Yeah. And looking forward to 2011, just south of the Missoula Mercantile Building, a new parking structure is planned for 2011-2012. The focus of this dinner is on Caras Park. And when I think back over my year as president of the MDA, there's a lot of great memories from Caras Park. And I also think about the folks that have been nominated as award winners, MDA award winners tonight. A lot of them are associated with events that happened at Caras Park. Caras Park really is important to Missoula and the downtown. I'm going to move on to the business portion of this meeting very soon, but first, I want to thank the great board of directors we had and congratulate them on the great job they did, the terrific job they did during 2011. And then I have something that's been difficult for me to try to decide whether this is the appropriate time to bring this up, but I do have an announcement to make. We do know that change is the one thing that we all know is constant and have in common. I got some bad news, well, some good news and bad news yesterday. And that is that Julie Weaver, who's been with the MDA for 7 years, will be leaving us next month in February. And I've got a few words that Linda McCarthy wrote and asked me to read. Following more than 7 years of exceptional service with the MDA, Assistant Director Julie Weaver and her husband Geoff will be leaving Missoula next month for Austin, Texas. During Julie's tenure with the MDA, she has seen a significant growth in membership, events, marketing, advocacy, and more. Some may have heard the saying, behind every man is a good woman. The phrase applies here. Behind every executive director is an exceptional assistant director. We have been very fortunate to have Julie as long as we have, and her contributions to this organization will have a long-standing impact. She has been a phenomenal representative and an enormous advocate, and her work ethic is unlike no other. The MDA will not be the same without Julie Weaver, and her vibrant presence will be sorely missed by the board of directors, the staff, and the entire membership. Julie, do you want to please come up? We've got a small gift from the MDA Board of Directors. We really appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you.
We really do. All right, now I can move on. Thank you very much, Julie. We've got a couple of outgoing board members this year. First, Colleen Rudio, who isn't able to be with us tonight. She has 6 years of board service and was board president in 2009, and she's helped guide us through growth and planning. She was instrumental in developing the Missoula Downtown Foundation. Also, Kim Murray, who's been on the MDA board since 1996. She was board president in 2007, and she's been a key volunteer with Out to Lunch, the Mayor's Downtown Advocacy Council, and she's with Karis Park is a wealth of institutional information. We have a gift for Kim, and I know you're here, and I don't. Do you want to come on up? Thanks, Kim.
Rock on.
Okay, now I'd like to introduce Heidi Sterrett. She's a co-owner of Computer. She's been nominated to join the MDA. She's a co-owner of Computer Central. She serves on the Parade of Lights and the Out to Lunch committees. And she's concerned with attracting locally owned businesses to our downtown area and keeping the downtown a diverse and vibrant gathering place. Heidi, can you come on up and, or at least stand up and so everyone can see you? That's fine. I'd like to have a vote. Each business must have one representative vote. All those in favor of endorsing Heidi Sterrett for service on the MDA Board of Directors, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Abstentions? Thank you. Welcome, Heidi. It's going to be great to have you. Now I'd like to introduce those, or I will introduce those who have been nominated to serve on the MDA Board Executive Committee in 2011. John Horner, President. Todd Frank from the Trailhead, Vice President of Advocacy. Matt Ellis, the Missoula Osprey, Vice President of Master Plan. Julie McFarland, Farm Bureau's Financial Services, President of Marketing. Matt Loomis from Baskin Robbins, Vice President of Membership. Harry Watkins from Zip Beverage, Treasurer. And Diane Lanning, St. Patrick Hospital, past President. Having worked with all of these individuals in various projects, I can tell you they're passionate about downtown and are dedicated to the MDA mission, promoting, supporting, enhancing the vitality of downtown Missoula for the betterment of our community. I'm going to call for ratification on the executive committee. Again, each business has one representative vote. All those in favor of endorsing the slate of officers for the 2011 executive committee, aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? All right. Now it's my pleasure to introduce John Horner. John is entering his 4th year of service on the MDA Board of Directors, active in the Advocacy and Master Plan Committee, passionate about downtown, and a strong leader for downtown Missoula. Please welcome John Horner.
I like those. You stay up here, please. We wanted to make sure that we thank Diane one more time and recognize the level of service that she gave us this past year. She's been involved, as was said, in many things, on the front lines with Downtown Tonight, all the way to facilitating our conversations that we had with the sheriff candidates during one of our MDA membership luncheons. She's just been a great advocate for downtown. She's been involved in many things. I am not letting her off the hook for the next year ahead because she's going to be relied upon and needed for many, many things. So we have a special gift for her to commemorate her year with us, and we just thank you very much for the year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Again, welcome and thank you all for being here tonight. I want to thank you first for putting your trust in me for the coming year. Under the leadership of our executive director, Linda McCarthy, our board of directors, I think I'm going to have a relatively easy job. Also want to thank my wife, Judy, my kids, because for the next year they're going to be allowing me to use a lot of our time, our family time, for the MDA. And that's a big part of what I wanted to contribute. Thank you also to my employer, First Interstate Bank. They have made sure that they're very supportive of Missoula, the community, everything that we do, not only financially, but also allowing its employees to get involved in what we do as a community. We're looking forward extremely to the next year ahead. There's a lot of activities that are going to be happening. None of it's going to be without obstacles or challenges, but I think it'll also come with a lot of smiles and laughter. You've heard the necessary improvements that we've talked about for Caras Park. We have health and safety issues with our homeless and our poor. We have the ongoing work for the master plan. We have a new parking structure that's going to be built. We have a new major property owner. And we have various businesses downtown that are going through changes, growth, closures, openings. All that's going to be happening in the next year. On top of that, we have several annual events and activities that we work through. Downtown Tonight, Out to Lunch, all those things. We're also going to have to adjust without the marketing, organizational, and party planning skills of Julie. Yep. But I would like to throw out a challenge to each one of you here, to your employees, to your employer, to your friends and your families. I challenge you to get involved. I challenge each of you to get involved in downtown Missoula, in your neighborhoods, in your government, and in your city. As I said, I am extremely thankful to my employer, First Interstate Bank, for allowing me to get into the game. First Interstate wants me to get involved and have input in things that affect the downtown and affect Missoula. Because as we say, it truly is, this is our home too. I represent my family, I represent First Interstate Bank, and I represent the businesses of downtown Missoula. We've heard it often said, we live in one of the best places on earth. We need it to stay that way, and in order for it to happen, we need each other. You need to get engaged in what your downtown is doing. There's a lot of work that your downtown association does every single year, and oftentimes by the same few people. If you have ever enjoyed Out to Lunch, Downtown Tonight, River City Roots Festival, Brewfest, the car show, and Parade of Lights, you have been the recipient of many hours of volunteer time and hard work. If you aren't currently involved and would like to be, contact the MDA office. We'll get you plugged in. I'm convinced you will find it more fun than work, and you will be hooked. Tonight, one of the privileges that I have is announcing a wonderful event that will be happening very soon, but it will also give you the opportunity to get involved. In fact, we are absolutely going to need it. Mark your calendar for Saturday, February 12th. The MDA will be having a winter brewfest in downtown Missoula at the Missoula Mercantile. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Thanks to the generosity and the excitement of the new people coming to downtown Missoula, Octagon Partners, we're going to throw the Winter Brewfest in their building prior to them starting their major renovations. Yeah, think worse thoughts and it's probably okay. This Winter Brewfest is going to use to benefit the downtown Caras Park. So tell everyone you know, this is going to be the last party to be held in the Missoula Mercantile as we know it today. The Octagon Partners are very excited about this, and we sincerely appreciate their generosity. In fact, I believe they're so excited about it, they may even show up for the party. So again, February 12th, Saturday, mark it down. The MDA office will have more of the particulars out real soon. This just kind of fell into place relatively recently. So we're excited about it, and I hope you all will be too. As I said, it takes volunteers, it takes time, and it takes people to get involved. We've been blessed in years past to have a significant number of people involved in amongst us today. We have several of our former board members and presidents joining us. I'd like to recognize them, would like to recognize them. So if I call your name and you're here, please stand. John Romer, these are our past presidents. John Romer, Scott Sproul, Dan Cedarberg, Rod Austin, Kim Clagus-Johns, Matt Ellis, Kim Murray, Colleen Rudio, and of course Diane Lanning. Thank you to all. We've also got, I believe, several of our previous board members present here. Brian Flagg, Geoff Badenoch, Joel Langford. And if there's anybody else that we've missed, please stand because we sincerely appreciate your contributions to downtown Missoula. Along with thanking each of you individually, I'd like to also thank your employers and your families because I know what they're going to be going through. And I know that it takes a lot, and it takes basically given the opportunity to get involved by those people. So that's important. Also like to recognize previous MDA director that's celebrating with us here tonight, Pat Simmons. Yeah. There you go. Please stand. Thanks for coming. Of course, I also get the benefit to excuse me, certainly not least, to introduce our wonderful staff that we have at the Missoula Downtown Association. Some of them are going to miss extremely, but the ones that we're keeping we're extremely happy about. Kristen Fitzpatrick, Jessica Daniels, Julie Weaver, and of course your Executive Director, Linda McCarthy. Thank you all. I guess now I get to hand it back to you, Geoff. Thank you again. Have a good evening.
I'm so glad that John mentioned that all the people that have contributed time, energy, and goodwill over the years to make the MDA a successful organization. And I would be remiss if I didn't recognize Pat once again. All the great things that I said about Caras Park really started under Pat's watch. And Pat was, I think, the person that imported the idea of having out to lunch that, well, I'll tell you a story. When we designed Caras Park, I was talking with the architect about the design, and I asked him about the seating area. And I said, Stan, and this is Stan Zimmett of Oz Architects, I said, Stan, how many people could sit here anyway? And he said, 300, 350 maybe, if they were real packed in tight. And I looked at him and I said, Stan, why in the world would 350 people ever come to Caras Park? Pat is the one that helped us see that 3,500 people will come to Caras Park, and that's typically what we get every Wednesday for Out to Lunch is over 3,000 people come enjoy that. Thank you, Pat. Tonight we're going to carve out a special part of our evening. I think it's special because we're recognizing specific individuals for outstanding achievement and work that they've done on behalf of the MDA in downtown this year. And we're going to be able to say thank you to these people.
Keep going.
Okay, great. Since 1989, the Downtown Association has recognized one individual each year who has given above and beyond the call of duty to serve the downtown community. The Downtown Awards program was expanded in 2004 to help recognize a wide variety of individuals who do so much to make the Downtown Association a strong, well-respected, healthy organization and who contribute to the positive downtown experience. These award nominees are submitted by the MDA membership and Friends of Downtown and they are voted on only by the MDA Board of Directors in a ballot format. This year, we're going to change things up a bit and present the awards between our fantastic performances. You thought you were going to be able to hear me all night? No, not without a break. We've got some wonderful entertainment that is going to come between these awards. Tonight, we're going to start. Our first award is for the Committee Member of the Year. This award recognizes the dedicated efforts of an individual who goes above and beyond the call of duty to produce an MDA event or to serve as a leader on an MDA standing committee. Previous Committee Member of the Year award winners are, and if you're here, please stand, Sarah Eastland of Sterling Security Bank, won in 2009. Jill Cusker of Macy's, 2008. Brian McDonald of Community Bank, who won in both 2007 and 2005. Jim Decker of Decker Architecture, and Lisa Donnelly of Bookham, who won in 2004. The nominees for Committee Member of the Year this year, please stand as your name is read. Susan Anderson of Balance Tech for her work on the River City Roots Festival. As a board member of the Sustainable Business Council, Susan has spearheaded the greening efforts of the River City Roots Festival for the last 3 years, including the creation and coordination of the Green Team. So, Susan, there she is back there. Round of applause. Our next nominee is Dan DeWitt of Cherry Creek Radio and his participation in the stellar Downtown Tonight program. Danny D. joined the Downtown Tonight Committee this year, serving as an outstanding MC and volunteer while bringing new energy and fresh ideas to the event series that we have every Thursday evening. So Dan, our next nominee is Heidi Starrett of Computer Central and her wonderful work on Out to Lunch and the Parade of Lights, which I will tell you was very cold, but beautiful. Heidi's creativity shines when asked to develop ideas for MDA events, including the creation of the 2010 Parade of Lights, the MDA float for the Parade of Lights, and injecting a fresh new look for Out to Lunch. Heidi has a passion for serving our community. So, Heidi, thank you. Do you have an envelope, or am I just going to do it? Okay, all right. The winner of the 2010 MDA Committee Member of the Year is Susan Anderson. As a board member and representative for the Sustainable Business Council, Susan Anderson has spearheaded the greening effort for the River City Roots Festival for the last 3 years. She has created and coordinated the Green Team, a large group of volunteers to manage garbage, recycling, and composting. She and her team work with food and beverage vendors to encourage purchasing of compostable materials and utilized alternative ways and sources of power for the art show. Without Susan's leadership and sustainability measures, the MDA would not have embarked upon such an endeavor. Susan serves both the MDA and the Sustainable Business Council with her passion, commitment, and follow-through. We're thankful for Susan's leadership and educational efforts. Thank you. Now, before our next award, it is my pleasure to introduce our first performance of the evening. We're going to hear from Andrea Harcel. Andrea has been bringing her vibrant performing style and exceptional songwriting to audiences around the country for over 10 years. With a powerful, supple voice and a passel of outstanding original songs, Andrea is more than just a major talent. She's a force of nature. She lives in Missoula with her husband, Jaron, her daughter, Lisa, and son, Django, let's give a warm welcome to Andrea Harcel.
Hello, hello. All right, we got it on. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me, Julie, to be here tonight. I just found out tonight that you're not going to be here, and I'll really miss you. You've been amazing over the years, and I wish you the best of luck in the future. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Andrea Harcel. I'm a local girl, born and raised here in Missoula, just over the tracks. And I was asked tonight to tell a story or a favorite memory about Harris Park. And I was like, well, that's great, but which one do I tell? Because there's a lot of them. So I went to see Jewel. Any of you see Jewel back when she was at Harris Park? That was great. Modest Yahoo. I was at that show. You know, Secret Powers, watching them play in the sunshine. I don't know if there's anything better than that. I myself played at Harris Park the very first time back in 2000. I was in a band called 9 Pound Hammer. And since then have played many times, fundraisers, parties. I put on Hemp Fest. Have you guys ever been to Hemp Fest? Hemp Hemp? Yeah! Thank you. Roots Fest, Pedal Fest, there's so many. The Earth Day celebration, one of my great memories that I remembered is I booked the bands for the Earth Day celebration for a couple of years, and I had started the Human Energy Ball, and everybody kept asking, what the heck is that? I was like, we are gonna have to come to find out. So we went up on the hill, and you know, you start, I don't know if you've ever been to a Celestine Prophecy workshop, but that's where I learned this. So you breathe out your hands and you make a little energy ball, and then it grows, and 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, and it grew until there were like 40 people on this thing, and it was huge, and everybody was calling out and shouting out their well wishes for the earth and their blessings, and it was one of the most beautiful, powerful experiences I've had in Harris Park. So, yeah, I hope they continue that with the Earth Day celebration. I'm not booking the bands anymore. The people that took over were probably like looking through their notes going, what the heck is a human energy ball? My daughter, Leia Sky, she's 9 years old now. She performed at Harris Park when she was 5 years old for Kiddo-Palooza, which is a wonderful event that they have there at Harris Park. And she was Barbie Island Princess and had a whole outfit from tiara to toes and did some Barbie Island Princess songs, and it was so cute. You know, Kids Fest. Harris Park is just a wonderful place for the community to come together and celebrate, whether it's, you know, the Gay Pride Festival or whatever it is you're into. Harris Park is the place to gather and celebrate under our big sky. And I want to thank the MDA for making it what it is today. And I'm really, really excited for what it will be in the future, too. So thanks again. I'm going to play a song that I wrote. This is called Lemonade. Thanks. Followed you all the way from Tennessee down to Baton Rouge. It's colorful, suddenly sky. Myself behind the counter of a shop just to make the news. Ooh, the love is all I needed. Ooh, lemonade, I gotta find my way home. Ooh, lemonade, I gotta find my way back home. But you know she fell so hard for you. Now you didn't look away. I found out this life I lived for you. Oh, darling, what's the left to say? looking for lights. I have to make a new start. I haven't went down where I like it there. I'm down by the lake. Reflection I never knew. Oh, lemonade, I gotta find my way. Oh, lemonade, I gotta find my way. Broke down in Cadillac, got into a fist fight in an alley. I was broken, beat down, and confused. I built a wall around my heart. No one would get through. Lord, Lord, I've got the blues. Ooh, and I gotta find my way home. Oh, lemonade, I gotta find my way back home. Thank you.
See, you get a no talent hack and you get talent, more hack. Later, there'll be more talent. Andrea's recollection of Caras Park made me think of a memory about Caras Park. When we at the MRA first built Caras Park, as I said, before we went to work there, it was just a big, long, rather boring, uninteresting stretch of grass. And one of the things that we did in our design is we decided that we needed to create some elevation so you could actually recognize that this was a riverfront park. You know, you can't see the river at the riverfront Caras Park unless you're up on the hill. So one of the features that we built was creating this hill. And if I told you how much it cost to bring in all the dirt and compact it and landscape it, you would think I was crazy. But it's just a hill. And as was my custom, I think everybody who does the kind of work that MRA does, I like to watch how people use the park. And one day I was standing on Higgins Avenue Bridge, and I'm not even sure that the park was open. It was just done. I'm not sure it was even open yet. And I looked down, and there was a young family, and they had bicycled down to Caras Park. And it was a man and his wife, and their son, maybe another child, but I know that their son was about this big, about 2 feet tall, 3 feet tall. And I remember this because he had one of those kids' bike helmets on, and his head was like this big compared to his body. And that kid got off his bike at the base of the hill, and he looked up, and he ran straight to the top, and he laid down, and he started to roll down that hill. And his head was just going ka-thunk, 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 ka-thunk. And he was laughing. His head was protected, but he knew how to use that hill. And that little boy's name was Bobby Bender, and he's the son of our city's CAO, Bruce Bender. And that was 1985. Our next award is for the Board Member of the Year. The Board Member of the Year award honors a board member for engaged, enthusiastic, and dedicated stewardship and active leadership of downtown Missoula and the MDA. In the past, Board Member of the Year's award winners are Matt Ellis from the Osprey, our outgoing president, Diane Lanning, Rod Austin of the Downtown BID, Kim Murray and Dan Cedarberg, who won it twice. That's a dedicated board member. The nominees for Board Member of the Year are, and will you please stand, Kent Watson of Kent Watson Landscape Architecture. Now, Kent has given a large amount of time to the Caras Park Committee. Kent is seen volunteering at many of the MDA events throughout the year. He's a dedicated MDA board member and also contributes his time to the City of Missoula and is part of its Design Review Board and the Sustainable Business Council. So, Kent. Our second nominee is Kim Murray of Joint Ventures and New Quest Distributing. Kim has been an MDA board member and has served on the Out to Lunch Committee since 1996. You do the math. Kim was also a former MDA board president, vice president of the membership committee, and has served on the marketing and annual barbecue committee. And the winner of the 2010 Missoula Downtown Association Board Member of the Year is Kim Murray. As you can tell by the list of committees I've just listed, Kim has worked tirelessly for the MDA in every capacity, and her enthusiasm for downtown is always evident in her interactions. From ensuring that Out to Lunch attendees' needs are met to serving on the Mayor's Downtown Advisory Commission, Kim is a voice for downtown Missoula. Kim truly makes her service for the MDA seem like a selfless endeavor to be emulated by others. Somehow, she also finds time to perform her various day jobs, including hosting a morning show on Mountain 102.5, consulting and keeping up with her grandchildren. This woman has grandchildren. Okay, on to the next performance. Our second performance tonight comes from another regular to the Caras Park stage. Keith Van Dort was raised in Montana and has been living in Missoula for 10 years. I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm not wearing my glasses for a reason, but thank you. Kevin. Although the love of blues moved Kevin to begin learning music, his interests are widespread across many different genres. He recently released his new video, which he shot right here in downtown Missoula. Let's give a warm welcome to Kevin Van Dort.
Need to make an adjustment, have to have a seat. Is that all right? Okay. Well, hello, everyone. I was born in the Flathead Valley and had the opportunity to come here about 2000. And I've been here since, and I love this amazing, amazing city. It's been very important for me to visit downtown, to spend my money downtown, and also involve myself in the activities. And I've had the pleasure of serving on a committee for the car show and a few other things, and have known a lot of very familiar faces around here for a while. It's been very important to me. And I'm going to continue that. In fact, I've increased that. I'm living downtown. It's important for me to spend my dollars downtown. But it's also important that I hope that you, in reciprocation, will support live music at every turn. Every opportunity that you have. And I know that one of the last gigs I had started at 12:30 a.m. on a Thursday night, and I understand. I understand that. But please, I'm supporting you. I commit to it, and I love downtown, and hope that you come down to every opportunity that you have for live music. My favorite experience downtown, as far as the Cares Park Pavilion and performing, centers around my daughter. And a year and a half ago, she agreed. She was a little skeptical at first to the Summer of Rock camp put on by Matt Nord. Yes, okay. And she became the singer in the group, in the Red Rocks, and we also were able to, a week before, her and I were talking about having her in this group, and what should we do, and would you like to write a song? And she said, yes, of course, I'd love to write a song. So on Father's Day, before she began the camp, we wrote a song together. And then later in the week, after Summer Rock was over, which we also put a video of that out, she performed with me at Cares Park at Downtown Tonight before I took a 2-week trip to Singapore. So this was a day and a half before I left for Singapore, and that is the moment of us singing and playing this song. So obviously very special. And I was in Singapore 2 weeks, and about a week and a half in, I nearly broke down and called everyone I could reach just to give me some kind of connection back to here. So this is the song that my daughter and I co-wrote on Father's Day, a couple weeks before this.
If that doesn't tell you about Cares Park being a family place, nothing else will. I'm expecting in 15 years or so, his daughter is going to come back here and perform for us, and she's going to tell that story, but from her perspective. Our next award is the Downtown Employee of the Year. This award is given to an exceptional employee who provides outstanding service to our downtown customers. Previous Downtown Employees of the Year recipients are, and as I read your name, if you'd please stand, Mark Horner, the Missoula Police Department, who won it last year. Lori Johnson, who you see on the street working and representing on behalf of the Business Improvement District. The woman who could put a smile on your face after getting a parking ticket, Cindy Winchell of the Missoula Parking Commission. Mark Thompson, who has served tons of sandwiches at Warden's and who is a day brightener for everybody he meets. Annette Skaya of J. Elaine's Boutique, won in 2005. And Alex Havens of the Missoula Downtown Association in 2004. The nominees for this year, 2010, Downtown Employee of the Year are, and if you please stand when I read your name, Anita Edwards from Sterling Savings Bank. Anita is a very dedicated employee of the Downtown Sterling Savings Bank. On top of her help with the community events downtown, she's a full-time teller who is relied on for backup help and consistently shows her drive, knowledge, and passion for her job, and that's her top priority. Our second nominee is Debbie Florence of the Missoula Cultural Council. Debbie has been doing pivotal work in developing dialogue between the downtown business community and local artists. She spearheaded the Storefront Art Initiative, which we enjoyed last year, Cultural Index, First Night Missoula, and the development of a cultural plan for the Missoula community. Our third nominee is Trevor Iman from WGM Group. Trevor served as the project manager for the North Higgins Improvement Project and was responsible for ensuring the project moved forward on time through one of the busiest times of the downtown year. And our fourth and final nominee is Vicki Mix from Runner's Edge. Vicki works well with every type of customer and always has a smile on her face. She is always positive, not only with customers, but in her attitude in life. She never says no, and you can find Vicki showing up for work an hour early, even if she is not even scheduled to do so. So those are our four nominees. And the winner of the Downtown Employee of the Year is Trevor Hyman from WGM. As project manager for the North Higgins Improvement Project, Trevor Iman served as the liaison between the City of Missoula and Western Excavating, worked with businesses and property owners to address issues, ensured sidewalks remained open, and kept the area open for our customers. This project finished on time and under budget under Trevor's watch, completing the first catalyst project for the Downtown Missoula Master Plan. Thank you. Our third performer is someone who's been a friend of mine for a long time. And his association with Karis Park, and I'll tell you this because I know this from my own history. When we built Karis Park, the MRA wanted it to be an activity center for the downtown. And when we started, that responsibility was originally with the Missoula Parks Department. Karis Park was a park. The Parks Department had an initial responsibility for the park. We had a couple of early, very rocky years, and the park just didn't meet its potential. And Bob Zimmerino, as the MDA president, said, I can't understand why Karis Park is not a profit-making activity center, and it was under his leadership that the MDA started taking responsibility for the management of Karis Park under the MDA wing. And where we are today with the number of events and the great activity that occurs in Karis Park really started with the idea that maybe we needed to have entrepreneurs in charge of this. And so our third presenter, my friend, Bob Zimmerino.
Hi, my name's Bob. So I was president so long ago that they didn't even remember me when they announced the presidency. 1988, if you do the math, that is 22 years ago. My first gig as an MDA board member was September of '86. I was told, here's your job. Go down to Caris Park on Sunday because we have a Heritage Fest and there's going to be all kinds of food vendors down there from all over the place doing all different kinds of food. And we want to charge people $4 to get in the tent to go sample all these different ethnic cuisines. Perfect. So I go to Caris Park on Sunday. It was 22 degrees. September the 13th or so, somewhere around that time. 22 degrees, the wind was blowing sideways out of Hellgate Canyon, bringing snow with it. The Greeks were the only ones that showed up in the tent. And for the 4 people that came to eat, I didn't charge them. It was a beautiful thing. So, in '86 also, well in '85, a guy named Chris Buzan, who used to have a chiropractic clinic down on Spruce Street, and I formed a little band called Spinal Pizza. Chiropractic, yeah, I used to have a little Italian restaurant up north. I don't know if you remember that or not. Yeah. So Buzan and I formed Spinal Pizza, and we had this cool thing going, but we were both kind of, you know, I think we should play electric music too. So we added Stan Zimmet, and we added Tom Casina, and Gene Purviance, and we had a group called East of East, named after a place in Snowbowl where at the time we used to sometimes go sneak off and smoke pot. I know, it's hard to believe. In the 80s. Somebody once asked me if I'd run for political office, and I said, only if I can tell people anything you think I did in the 70s, I did. And I had a good time doing it and still do some of it. Needless to say, I wasn't asked to run. I don't know what happened. So, we had this band, but we didn't have a venue. So we thought, we had this tent down in Caris Park. We should go down and do a show in the tent. But how do we get people to go? So we invented the downtown barbecue. And it was really invented because a group of guys that were on the downtown board wanted to play music for their friends. So we had the downtown barbecue, and there were, we had 7 songs. As a matter of fact, Geoff introduced us, and his introduction took longer than our set. I know you find that hard to believe. Oh, Geoff and I have been friends for years. There was a group of us that used to meet at Wharton's Market almost every day and eat lunch. So in the 90s, when East of East went away and we became the Tire Biters, we added Patrick Montgomery, who was a chiropractor, so now I'm in a band with 2 chiropractors. My back hurt, and I never understood that. I never quite got through that whole thing. And we were the Tire Biters for 10 years. From year 2, for the next 15 years, I played it out to lunch in Caris Park. And we did Downtown Tonight 2 or 3 times. I was also in a band after that called the Levitators, big floaters in the pool of life. I used to think it was we were in the Levitators, and we played shows there. So I had a good 15-year run at Caris Park. And it's jokes like these is why I haven't been back. You know, I love the pavilion that's down there. But one night, about a year after they put the pavilion up, I ran into some drunk guy on the bridge, on the Higgins Avenue Bridge, who said, "How did I get to the Denver airport?" I don't know what he was thinking. In 1988, I became the president of the Missoula Downtown Association, and if you think I'm not proud of it, Buzan laughs at me for this. I got a little plaque that year. It was a little wooden thing like this with a little metal, almost like the size of a business card, that stuck in that little ridge in that plaque. And it said, Bob Zamorino, President, 1988, Missoula Downtown Association. It is in the amplifier that I use when I play on stage, and there's not a show that I've done since I have gotten that plaque where that little plaque does not sit on my amplifier when I play. I'll tell you what, I grew up in the town of Newark, no relation to the famed city of New Jersey. This is in New York State. It was a small town of about 10,000 people. In 1972, they had an idea for an urban renewal project, and they decimated the entire downtown. It'd be like taking from just shy of the X's all the way down to the Higgins Avenue Bridge, and they knocked down all the buildings, and then they ran out of money. And for 12 years, it was a parking lot with nowhere to go. I wish I could say I was joking, but I'm not. When I came to Missoula, and in the early 80s, when you used to be able to throw a bowling ball down Higgins Avenue and only hit nothing, or maybe a car occasionally, because everybody had gone out, and we were thinking, oh, the dark days of downtown. There was a group of people in downtown Missoula that were so inspired, not only business people, but the government in this town. And I give my hat off to Geoff and Tom Casina during that time, because realistically, without the participation that we got from the city of Missoula, we never could have done the things that we did. We never could have done the things that we did. And we built a beautiful downtown, a group of people can make a difference in the town that they live in if they choose to do so. So that's why we let Geoff introduce us at that camp. No, I'm only kidding. But I gotta tell you, there was one thing that I did while I was the president of the Downtown Association that in my mind to this day stands above all. When I became the president of the Downtown Association, Pat Simmons was the executive secretary. Pat Simmons was the backbone of the organization. Presidents came and went. Pat Simmons was the backbone of that organization. She ran the office somewhat militaristically. But, God, I love this woman. In the year that Pat and I worked together, we accomplished a lot, but my biggest accomplishment was taking Pat from executive secretary to executive director of the Downtown Association. I had women as business partners. I realized the potential early in the going, but I also realized that women oftentimes didn't get the credit they deserved for the job that they were doing, and anything less than this woman being the executive director of that association would have been a crime. So Pat became the executive director in the association, rocked on. It was a great thing. It was truly a great thing. I worried after I left that it wouldn't be the same, but you know, it just kept getting better, because realistically, when your time's up and it's time to go, there's somebody else to step up, and if you find the right people to do it, and the Downtown Association has consistently over the years done that, you really have a great thing here. I moved back to Missoula after being gone for about 5 years. I intend to join this association again in the spring and be an active member because I believe in downtown Missoula. And I actually don't know how to play or sing, so this is a song apropos for this time of year and apropos for this kind of night. It's a song called Happy New Year, Baby. And this is to my friend Amy Jo, who couldn't be here tonight. Happy New Year, baby. I know it's just another day. Time keeps on marching on, then it slips away. I search the sky, I stand my ground. watching this old world turn round and round, round and round. Happy New Year, baby. I know it's just another day. This world can't keep on spinning, but the feelings won't fade away. Won't fade away. I've seen the darkness beyond the edge of light. I felt the warm embrace of morning and the loneliness of night. Yes, I have. I felt the loneliness of night. Believe in me like I believe in you. Together we can make our dreams come true. Believe in me like I believe in you. Together we can make the dreams come true. Happy New Year, baby. I know it's just another day. I've never been more ready to take on whatever comes my way. I see the stars shooting across the sky, and I know life can change, yeah, in the twinkle of an eye. In the twinkle of your eye, baby, sparkling like a shining diamond. Believe in me like I believe in you. Together we can make our dreams come true. Believe in me like I believe in you. We can make our dreams come true. Me and you. Make a dream come true. Make a dream come true. Happy New Year, baby. Happy New Year, baby. Happy New Year, baby.
Tonight's final award is the award that the Downtown Association has been giving out the longest, and it's an award that recognizes the individual who, for whatever reason, whatever contribution they've made, has contributed enough to downtown to deserve special recognition. And that award is the Downtowner of the Year award. And there's a lot of wonderful, wonderful people who have won this award in the past, and I know many of them are here, and I would like them to stand up so they can be recognized. This is an achievement that is absolutely wonderful. So, past recipients of this award are Bill Buseman, Dan Cederberg, Marcia Pilgrim, John Romer, Scott Sproul, Kim Murray, Mark Gorseth, Carol Bargett, Rod Austin, Daleen Withicum, Jared Amos, Rick Bice, Brent Campbell, Ellen Buchanan, Julie McFarland, Teresa Cox, and Anders Brooker. The nominees for Downtowner of the Year for this past year, if you would please stand. Anders Brooker from Runner's Edge. Anders is extremely dedicated to not only his business, but to Missoula's community, specifically downtown. You would be hard-pressed to find more selfless individual in our community. He believes and is fully committed to the growth of downtown Missoula. Our second nominee, Kevin K.B. Brown from Strongwater Paddle Shop. A relatively new downtown business owner, KB is a professional athlete who has spent a significant amount of time, money, and energy building up the paddle industry and putting Missoula on the map for competitive kayaking. Liz Stokel from Homeward. As the Fund Development Director at Homeward, Liz was very involved in making Missoula a better place to live. She was a driving force behind Homeward's support of the I-164 bill to cap the rate for payday lenders to 36%. She works tirelessly to help drum up support and volunteers for the Montana Women Vote initiatives. Liz is active in Missoula's Fair Trade campaign and serves as a board member on the Watershed Education Network. And the winner for the 2010 Downtowner of the Year Award is Kevin K.B. Brown. Nominated by Linda McCarthy, KB was responsible for bringing to Missoula the U.S. Freestyle Kayaking Championship in 2010, which attracted nearly 200 competitors and their families for a 3-day national competition on Brennan's Wave in downtown Missoula. KB is also responsible for the Thursday night throwdowns held in conjunction with Downtown Tonight, Summer Series, I thought it was a bummer series, Summer Series, and is active in fundraising efforts to build the Max Wave near the baseball stadium. A native of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, KB is a professional kayaking competitor who also enjoys in stand-up paddleboarding, river surfing, and snowboarding. A savvy businessman, KB's store at 612 South Higgins is open 7 days a week from 10 to 7 p.m. KB. I'd like to congratulate all the nominees and the award winners. As you can see, there are very many people who are dedicated to making downtown an even better place than it is today. It's the heart of our community and the place where people come together to enjoy the things that living here offers. Now, last week, I, along with 1,000 or so other Missoulians, had the privilege to attend the memorial for an absolutely great friend of downtown, Hal Frazier. Hal was the chairman of the MRA board for years and years and years. And his gentle leadership and vision kept kept MRA's contributions to downtown constant and meaningful. He helped many, many, many of our downtown businesses get started, weather tough times, and to succeed. As the director of the board, when I was there, I always felt I could count on Hal's leadership, his sensitivity, and his just absolutely positive manner to take anything that we were trying to do forward. Never backwards, never sideways, always forward. And tonight it's fitting that Hal, who wouldn't want us to be sad at all, so don't everybody think this is sad. This is not sad time. This is celebration time. So one last round of applause for Hal Frazier, great friend to downtown. We called him Happy. It's going to take everybody in this room to do your best to fill the gap that Hal's left. So do a little bit more for Hal. Finally, I just want to say that 2011 will be a year of collaboration. We're all going to be working with the people at our tables and at the next table and in this room. We need everyone to be involved, to help pitch in, to volunteer, to promote, to sell tickets, to buy tickets, to be present, to give your ideas, your constructive criticism, put your shoulder to the wheel, and help move downtown forward. I want to thank you all for being here tonight and to listening to me and everybody else that's been up here. I want you to drive safely as you go home and have a great year. Thank you all.